Good evening everyone, I hope you're well. Anytime notebook time for We Love Betting. Fresh off a couple of winners last week. Yeah, 2 out of 3. Good news I suppose for patent and tricksy backers. Not good news for treble backers. Yeah, well, frustrating news for treble backers should I say. But we will endeavour to try and change that this week. Some good picks this week. Yeah, it's getting dark, isn't it? When are we recording this? Just after 8 o'clock, and it already feels like I'm kind of recording these in the darkness. Winter is upon us. We'll leave the Met Office descriptions to one side and just move on, shall we? 2 interesting sides, I think, face off in League One this weekend. Crawley against Yeovil. Crawley had an awful August, plenty putting them up for relegation, which could eventually be where they end up, but 4 defeats, 9 goals conceded during August. Just changed things around slightly. I know they conceded 4 against Rochdale the other week, but 3 clean sheets in 5, plus they were competitive in that game against Preston, which they lost 2-0 last week. So positive-ish signs for John Gregory. I'll talk about kind of the troubles that he's got. But they face Yeovil this weekend. Yeovil look like a good... So if you're Crawley this weekend, and this is why it stuck out to me, Yeovil looks a good matchup to me, who are fresh off a bit of confidence after beating Peterborough and keeping a clean sheet last week. But let's not pretend that, you know, that's all Gary Johnson's questions answered. They couldn't keep a clean sheet. I think that was their first one. Yeah, their first clean sheet this year that they've kept. So heading to Crawley with a little bit of confidence might make an open up a little bit more, which means some of those chances that Crawley need might come their way. So John Gregory's got some real problems. If Al McLeod doesn't score, then it looks unlikely that Crawley might score. Says he's been working on posing more of an attacking threat this week though in training, which is good news for me. What that suggests to me is maybe set pieces. Maybe suggest he's bringing someone else in as well, which we should look out for, I guess. Team news ahead of Saturday. Joe Walsh, he's always on the notebook. Well, he's always in the notebook, sorry. When the conditions are right, and I think just the conditions could be right. And by conditions, I mean, I guess the match kind of profile that I've just given you, and the price, which is the main thing. So 11 to 1, Joe Walsh goes off at Crawley centre half. Got a decent record for centre halves. Must be around about kind of double figures for the last 2 or 3 seasons. So yeah, 11 to 1, we'll take that. So yeah, Joe Walsh. Let's see if he can get on the end of a set piece for Crawley as they host Yeovil this weekend. Next up, Vale, who head to Bradford. Really good opportunity for Rob Page to, I guess, enhance his prospects to become Port Vale permanent manager this week. So 6 straight defeats under Mickey Adams, saw the end of his reign. But yeah, really good angle. I like this when caretaker managers come in. If you're a caretaker manager, you don't leave anything out to dry. You don't try and battle your way to 0-0 draws in the hope of keeping a job. You set your side up, high tempo, lots of attacking football, and such was the case last weekend. 15 shots on target in a 2-1 win over Barnsley. Like I said, I talked about Yeovil being a good matchup for Crawley. Bradford could be a good matchup for Vale just here. They're kind of, I guess, indifferent. They've had a decent start. I think they're sitting in the playoffs, but they've lost 3 out of their 4 at home. Plus they had a game midweek as well. I think they went out the League Cup to MK Dons, which is something that Vale didn't have to do midweek. We are pretty uninspiring this one, but we're going to put up Mark Marshall. I say uninspiring if you saw his goal last weekend. Looks exactly the type of player to be, you know, that will do well in a confident side and a side that's taking the game to their opponents. I think that's what we can expect from Port Vale this weekend. Yeah, a wonder goal. That's one of those goals where it looked like it was glued to his feet. So check that out if you can. 4 to 1 he goes off at, which I think is a nice, healthy price for us. So we'll put up Mark Marshall for Port Vale. Yeah, winger for Port Vale as they head to Bradford. And the last one over the page. Let's talk about Wycombe. Not many people talking about Wycombe. You would have heard me talking about it if you read my blog pre-season. This fast start that they've made looks... Well, it might look surprising to a lot of people. Not me. I think they're the real deal. Wycombe. I think I'm kind of one of my biggest anti-post selections, biggest anti-post bets this year was Wycombe top half finish at a nice decent price, which yeah looks easy now. What a silly thing for me to say. Yeah, it looks the easiest thing in the world. Well, are we? Not even at the end of September. Plenty of time to go. However, let's ignore that. They look the real deal to me. Should have beaten Portsmouth last weekend. 1-1 draw eventually, but missed a few chances. But for some better finishing, would have stuck them away. But that epitomised some really good form. I think it's only us, Coventry, that have beaten them. We beat them JPT a couple of weeks back. That's the only defeat they've had in kind of the last month or two. I think they've kind of only been beaten once in the league as well. An excellent chance, it goes without saying, an excellent chance to continue that run when Cambridge visit Adams Park this week. And another thing I should mention, just a decent chance for Wycombe to... They've got some real winnable fixtures over the next month or two, so they can really consolidate that place in the playoffs and kind of head into Christmas looking very competitive. So yeah, Cambridge, let's talk about them. Pretty indifferent, giving up chances everywhere, scoring plenty, conceding plenty as well. This is another uninspiring pick, but at a price that's just about right for me. Peter Murphy, ex-Accrington, he's made a really decent start. For Wycombe, 4 in 9, bound to see plenty of action this weekend. We'll put him up at 3-1. So Peter Murphy for Wycombe, 3-1. Where else do we go? Mark Marshall for Port Vale at 4-1, and Joe Walsh, Crawley centre half. These are big price selection for this week at 11-1. Whatever you're backing, in fact, one thing I was going to mention, bet of the weekend, opposed goals at Morecambe and Northampton. That's what I'll be betting on this weekend. I may write something about that, but I'll point you in the direction if that's the case. Whatever you're backing this weekend, have a decent one, and I'll see you on the other side.